Welcome to the Recruiter Startup Podcast. I'm joined by Adam Spores today. I'm just back from Gibraltar, and this podcast is sponsored by Luxo or ATS. Are you on Luxo? Are you on the Luxo train?
I'm not. No, I didn't jump on that bandwagon. I'm still with Vincere.
You're still with Vinny, a previous sponsor of the podcast.
Yeah.
They just sold Vincere this week. They cashed in big time. Congratulations to the guys.
Yeah, as long as they keep their customer service as Vinny, I'm happy.
Yeah,
but it's the access. We've got the website with access, and
Speaking of websites, the second sponsor is Bold Identity, so we're getting that up and running the next couple of weeks. So they've been really great. Got a brand refresh. Try to get all the different things we're doing into one cohesive message, which is, as you'll know from the mastermind, it's tricky getting your messaging right.
Yeah.
And then the final sponsor we have of our podcast is somebody you've probably heard a bit about, the latest kid on the block, Sourcewell.
Sourcewell, yeah, we've got a.
Do you have Sourcewell? Do you?
I've got to get the training this week.
Oh, right. Excited?
Yeah, I am. It's that's been probably like a weak link in our tech stack and our sort of outreach. So I'm going to put aside a bit of time this week to try and get those sequences set up, get a bit of training. And
so, Adam, tell me a little bit about how you got into recruitment.
As everybody else, fell into it. I graduated uni, did a couple of sales jobs, kind of jumped around as the sort of young 20s person does, didn't really connect to anything, fell into recruitment. Applied for a recruitment job that was well above me. You know, I was only like 23, 24, applied for a 35 grand business development manager's job. They saw me on a whim, said, right, we like you. You're not quite the level we're looking at, so here's 24 grand. I was like, yeah, okay, sweet, let's go for it. It was a pure sort of 180 business development. And although it was a very steep learning curve, and it was one of those environments that I've never had like that, the sort of big corporate training, but the training and the systems we had there were quite mimicked of that. So I still had sort of the similar, X amount of calls equals X amount of jobs equals X amount of deals. But I only spent 6 months there. Apparently fell 6 grand short of what I should have done, which was the target they gave the guy on 35 grand.
Did they can you, did they?
Yeah, they can me. Can me on probation. Went into this meeting, presentation on what I've done, what I want to do in the next 6 months. Didn't even get to open it.
Wow.
Handed me my stuff and I was out.
Recruitment rooms can be quite, cutthroat. We used to take bets on which the rookies would last. Not in my own company.
Yeah, to be fair, I thought I'd done it. We went to a trade show the week before, and I knew the probation was coming up. I was saying to the guys, look, obviously I'd seen a lot of people come and go. Like even in the 6 months I was there was people that started after me and left before me.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, if you get to 6 months, you passed. Like they normally cut you before. I was like, right, sweet, I'm in. I'm really like coming up to my first big paycheck. I left with half of my actual wage.
Wow. So would you say that experience did you learn from that and go, do you know what, maybe they were right? Or
I learned a lot from it. The first 24 hours, 48 hours was a bit of a confidence knock, but I was like, well, I learned a lot. When I came into the job, I had phobia of picking up the phone. Having a boss that was 7 foot sitting behind me going, pick up the phone. In the first 48 hours, I very quickly got over that.
Yeah.
And now just, you pick up the phone, you get a win or you don't. What's the worst that can happen? Whereas it was structured. Like I said, it was all pick up the phone, X amount of calls equals X amount of revenue. Where the bit that I didn't like about it is it didn't leave too much for creativity. This was back in 2015, 16.
Okay.
And I thought LinkedIn was a bit of an unused tool. And I said, look, let me use LinkedIn a little bit more in my day. I got told to shut up and crack on. LinkedIn is now one of my biggest tools, and now I get so much from it. So the next job was a complete and utter full 360. I'd gone from this job that was really structured. If you weren't in by 8 o'clock, you're late. First one to leave was in trouble. Next place was just so relaxed. And it was a bit of a case where, well, I'm just going to stick to this routine that I've learned over the last 6 months, but give myself a little bit of slack where it suits me.
Yeah.
And it worked. I learned the candidate side, moved into 360, and away I go.
What happened the day you decided to set up by yourself?
It was one of my mates in the second business. He went and set up on his own. He asked me to go along with him. Wasn't secure enough for me. I've got 2 young kids, but it got those sort of the brain turning. I was like, yeah, potentially see this. I don't see myself in the corporate route. So it was either do really well here, maybe grow with the business that I'm in, or at some point set up on my own. Without being sort of too arrogant, I was only there sort of 18 months. And as well as I was, my sort of billings were going up and up and up. I was bringing on some really big accounts, but the business as a whole was going down. And it was really rocky. You know, I look back and think, actually, the guy, the owner of the business obviously had a tough time, and I maybe didn't give him as much slack as I should have, now being a business owner myself. But, you know, I'm making loads of money, not getting paid enough commission. You know, the resources were dwindling. And it was basically, he came to me and said, right, I've got a choice. Do I keep the business or do I not? You're good enough, or why don't I build a team around you? I'll increase your salary, I'll increase your commission, I'll give you shares in the business. I said, right, brilliant. Tell me what they are and I'll commit to you. And we had that conversation 3 times and he never told me what those figures were. So I was like, right, well, I'm going to go do it myself. And a little bit young, a little bit naive. It was feast and famine. Well, actually probably just famine for a long time.
Yeah.
But we're coming up to 5 years and team of 5. Had our best year last year coming out of COVID and hoping to double that again really this year.
Double headcount, double revenue?
Double revenue. We have already doubled headcount, gone from 2 to 5. But yeah, that's a mixture of VAs, part-time people. You know, there's 2 of us, 2 people that are full-time with me, and then we've got 2 people part-time. Probably stick as it is for now. Mostly this year it is about getting that machine or that engine being really slick, really profitable, and yeah, make some money.
Lovely. So you did the mastermind. You had a really strong group in there.
Mm.
What did you learn off the other guys being put in a group of 6 very strong, either early stage founders or experienced independent recruiters?
It sounds silly, but work ethic from some of them. You know, people like Rob, the guy was like meticulous, like put in the hours and you're going to get a nice life out of it. And I kind of learned that myself anyway, but it was a nice reminder. People like Sam who come from internal, I learned a lot from Sam actually, the way that internal departments will see recruitment, how they will engage with the recruitment and what we need to deliver. I mean, we're nowhere near the finished article as an individual or as a business, but we've improved our proposition, how we sell ourselves a lot since, even just the start of COVID, but we've still got a long way to go. And I was learning loads of bits around how to make it, a little bit more, if it's just a document that's aesthetically pleasing, it's an actual process. This is what we deliver. It's not just delivering you good people. It's the way we go and do this for you. It's a service, not an outcome. And that's something that I've really picked up a lot. And we're now starting to add into the business as a whole across the team. So I've got that process that I can give to, consultant number 1 or consultant number 10. This is how we do it. Yeah.
And it's, if you haven't been at one of the better, larger agencies that systematically do it, and you don't see all of that, it's very hard to go from a couple of boutiques set up by yourself because you haven't seen what systemization looks like in a business.
Yeah.
We see that quite a bit, but then you're quicker to implement change as well because you're like, you just get things quicker than maybe somebody who's a bit more set in their ways. So
that's why, I'm coming up to 5 years, but really, if I was to start again now, I would have grown a lot bigger. The next 5 years from now would have been very different to the 5 years I've had. The amount of stuff I've learned, the mistakes I've made. Yeah. You're absolutely. I knew myself that was a naive move, and that was going to be my downfall. But I've always been told, say yes and figure out the crap later.
Yeah, no, and I think it's a good thing. Look, we've all had a bit of a tough time, especially when COVID happened. But there's wonderful opportunities. Now I don't know how long this marketplace is going to continue for, but it's just unbelievable. And you're a fully remote team, is that right?
Yeah, so we are. I've got people that are with me now for over a year. I still haven't met them, mainly because of COVID. Hired 4 people completely remotely. 5. We did have 1 person with us that moved on within sort of about 2 months. But I'm Cambridgeshire. I've got 2 people in Midlands, 1 Northwest, 1 in Kent.
And where are your VAs based?
So 2 full-timers are West Mids, and then the VAs are North Chester and Kent.
Oh, so your VAs are actually English?
Yeah.
Interesting. How come you went for VAs in England?
If I'm honest, I've been quite lucky. I've had people, I've been introduced to people, they are both, I think one's a single parent, one has a family, and she set up on her own as a sort of a self-employed like resourcer. She loves the candidate side. I was introduced to her, and it just fit. I didn't have to look. I was, obviously speaking to you guys, being part of the dinghy. I was starting to look, but yes, they were ever so slightly more expensive, but they were more ready. They were more sort of ready to hit
No,
the ground.
I get it. No, it's not like, so the problem is when people put virtual assistants in their business, and you know this because you've done this with us. No, they don't have a set plan, and they don't have a set structure, and they expect that, oh, I've just got this person, and then they go, oh, do you know what? They're not doing a good job. When it's really down to you to have like clear instructions of just like get excellent at this one thing. And we now have, so across the 4 things that we do in terms of rec direct, back office, virtual assistants, and advisory, we have a VA that'll sit under each division, doing sourcing or lead gen or whatever it is, to make sure that the revenue generator is supported. But to get to that point takes a lot of instructions, So.
That's it. Yeah, again, like Adele, who was our first one in, she joined me in October, November 2020. Yeah. And started doing sort of 10, 15 hours a week. I want her in full time now. She actually committed to 30 hours a week, won't go to full time, but the commitment to us is there and very consistent. But again, get it right, get the right systems and process, get the right expectations there. But now it's like she's a full-time member of the team. She's again just as the candidate side, but the amount of recommendations we've got for her just in the past few weeks is excellent.
Brilliant. So she's speaking to candidates as well.
Yeah, screens them, and we're starting to integrate into the whole process. So I can just give her jobs. The potential, well, the longer term plan is that we've got one of our bigger accounts, and she does a lot of the jobs that they look after, and I just kind of want to make her potentially an account manager.
Yeah, nice.
She doesn't want to do any sort of BD, that sort of, that really sort of client sales pitch. That's not her strength. But candidates warm to her. She warms to them. She understands what a good candidate looks like on paper to what they are when you speak to them, screens them, gets them over.
So we do this conversation in a year from now. Where are you going to be at?
We might have maybe 2 or 3 people more, but the next level is full-time consultants. We've had this conversation, is we've got within the business is me and Tara, who are 360, if you like. Everybody else supports us. I need to expand that. Need to have more people who are hungry. I'm able to knock on the doors and win new business, but learn the market and continue delivering the service that we built up. The next hires are full-time consultants, and by this time next year, maybe 2 or 3 of those.
Will you wait until Nathan Adams trains them and then steal them off him?
I'm already working on one of his guys. To be fair, I wanted one of his guys before he went there. So if he's listened to this, he'll know already. But me and Nathan talk a lot. He's killing it. He's doing really well.
Yeah. No, I had him from the moment he set up. So that was I was like, just don't buy anything. You're going to waste load, because he's trigger happy. He just
me and him both.
Yeah, no. Boys and their toys when it comes to RecTech, it's mad. So we've got the Agency Expo tomorrow. Are you making it down, or?
I'm not actually. It's come around quick that I was thinking about it, and it slipped the radar. We've got got a busy week this week, and we've got a few conferences later this month. So it was one that if I could afford the time, I would have got to, but I completely forgot it was this week.
All right, Adam. Look, thanks for coming on, and I wish you all the success in the future. Keen to hear how the business is going to grow and who these new hires are going to be. And have you worked out your ideal profile of recruiter to join you?
Yeah, so we had this chat last week, and I'd never thought of it this way, but just by default, it might just be luck of the draw. I've had to go through a lot of shit at the start of the business. Things might be just naturally falling in place. But at the minute, I think it's somebody who's slightly more mature. The juniors, I don't think we're ready for ourselves, and it'll take too much time away from me. So we want people who've got a bit of experience. I think, from the team that we've got, everybody's between the ages. I've got 4 females that work for us, 25 to 40, and that just seems to work.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the next individual who I've got in line for one of those first consultant jobs is exactly that.
Yeah, that's good. I think you kind of we have as well, kind of
Yeah.
accidentally figured out what profile works in the business. I've just hired a part-time editor, but apart from him, everybody's a female between 27 and
Yeah.
like 45. So yeah. Okay, cool, man. Well, we won't catch you at the expo, but hopefully we'll catch you at the next Recwire Drinks. Or
Yeah,
are we
definitely.
going to have to go up to Manchester for that?
So I don't mind a trip. Nice to get out after the last 2 years.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, Pop. Take care.
Take care, mate. See you later.